G0, 22nd of January 2023, Russia and Pakistan may reach historic oil agreements, with China as an intermediary. Cold War adversaries Russia and Pakistan are negotiating a deal under which the Russians will begin providing inexpensive oil to Pakistan in March using Chinese Yuan payments. Pakistan is now without energy. At a time when Moscow's access to foreign currency is restricted by a G7/EU oil cap and sanctions, this will make Islamabad yet another Asian buyer of Russian crude. Additionally, because Pakistan is insolvent, payments would likely be conducted through a friendly nation, China. This is a power move by Beijing because the yuan will be utilized in the transactions, giving it additional clout as an alternative to the US dollar. What impact will this agreement have on Pakistani and American regional interests? And why does Pakistan, which seeks to maintain a healthy relationship with Washington, do business with Russia via China? First, some background. The arrangement hasn't been signed, but when it is, it will be geopolitically unusual because Pakistan is an unexpected location for Russian enterprise. Unlike India, Islamabad and Moscow have not maintained business relations for decades while Pakistan fought the Russians in Afghanistan. The two countries haven't exactly behaved like partner material, considering Pakistan spent the Cold War spying on the USSR and attacking its forces in Afghanistan. The Soviet Union reciprocated by supplying India, Pakistan's arch-rival. Go to China. The Pakistanis and Chinese have traditionally maintained a master-slave relationship, even with Islamabad being a US ally until not so long ago. Due to China's enslavement of Pakistan, Pakistan and China have been iron brothers. The Chinese urged Pakistan to open up to the Russians and vice versa. At the same time, they are replacing Pakistan as the favored South Asian ally over the last 2 decades. An earlier hesitant Islamabad now wants more than Russian oil, including natural gas, weaponry, and other things. Islamabad yet wants to continue supporting the American side. American aid is unconditional, in contrast to Chinese loans that have taken vast portions of Pakistan as collateral and are vulnerable to a debt trap. What is Pakistan doing, and why? The most significant portion of Islamabad's imports is used to pay its electricity expenses. Russia's trade deficit and rising balance of payments crisis will be helped by cheaper oil because her neighboring Islamic countries no longer wish to assist Pakistan. The most significant problem, though, is the declining foreign exchange reserves. Pakistan had $17 billion in the bank a year ago. There are only $4.3 billion in foreign funds, which is insufficient to cover a month's worth of imports. Pakistan could use the Chinese yuan in a swap with China to pay Russia once the oil starts flowing in. It anticipates receiving the internationally agreed upon price of 35% of its annual crude oil imports from 70 million barrels of Russian crude, firmly positioning its import regime in the China-Russia camp. Pakistan is thus caught in a problematic situation. Pakistan's leading energy suppliers are the US and its allies in the Gulf, but Islamabad needs the cheap Russian oil that it can't get from its Islamic neighbors, including Iran, which is right next door. This is especially true given that Islamabad has been negotiating bailouts with the Washington-backed IMF and deferred oil payments from the Saudis and the Emiratis. Islamabad is in a very different position than New Delhi because Pakistan is inching closer to default, even though the Pakistanis use India as an example of a neighboring nation that buys Russian oil even as it leans toward the US and does business with the Gulf states to support their position. However, that is precisely how Washington and Beijing could unite to prevent Pakistan from failing. According to Uzair Younus, head of the Pakistan Initiative at the Atlantic Council, the US stance on this is that countries like Pakistan may at times be strategically vital, but in the great power battle between China and US, it doesn't matter that much. Beyond Pakistan's limited value as a counterterrorism partner in Afghanistan, he determines that Washington believes it is okay if others shoulder the burden of supporting Pakistan and sustaining its economy. The US continues to be an important market for Pakistan, and that won't change anytime soon. There will therefore be a link there, asserts Younus, with the caveat that, for the time being, Washington is likely to place greater emphasis on other strategic goals given that China is the new global economic power. Or perhaps the US and its Gulf allies won't care much about the Russia-Pakistan oil pact. Although the deal will be closely watched in Washington, according to Tamanus Alakudin, director of South Asia programs at the U.S. Institute of Peace, it will only serve to confirm American policymakers' preconceived notions that Pakistan is currently China's slave and is on the side of China against the U.S. She says it will become more apparent that Pakistan is now on the China-Russia side rather than the US-India side. Political blocs can sometimes form independently, even if we don't actively seek them out.